The galaxy had long agreed on one certainty: Earth was gone. Not conquered. Not sterilized. Not quarantined. Simply absent. 2,000 standard years ago, the Sol system vanished from every known stellar map. No supernova. No gravity shock. No debris field. One moment it existed, the next it was a blank scar in spacetime. The event shattered models of physics and birthed 1,000 religions. Eventually, the mystery calcified into doctrine. Earth had been erased. Commander Illyra Vaz stood alone in the observation ring of the Galactic Astronomical Authority, watching a holographic void where souls should have been. She was 42 cycles old, a career officer turned astrophysicist, known for precision and a dangerous habit of questioning settled truths. Her console chimed once. Then again. Then screamed. Illyra turned sharply. That's impossible. The void flickered. A star ignited. Gasps erupted across the control floor as Sol's yellow globe burned into existence, followed by orbital signatures cascading like a data avalanche. Inner planets. Asteroid belts. Gas giants. Everything assembling in real time, as if reality itself were reloading a forgotten file. A junior analyst stammered. Commander, the mass readings. Match archived Sol data. Illyra finished, her voice steady despite the tremor in her hands. Down to decimal variants. Someone laughed nervously. Another whispered a prayer in binary cant. Then the final object resolved. Earth. Blue. Ringed. Alive. City lights burned across the night side like constellations stitched into the surface. Massive artificial rings arced around the planet, dwarfing anything the galaxy had ever built. Orbiting them was a fleet. Not defensive. Not ceremonial. A war formation. Silence swallowed the room. Confirm temporal displacement, Illyra ordered. The AI responded instantly. Temporal offset, negligible. Earth exists now. A technician whispered. That can't be right. Earth disappeared 2 millennia ago. Illyra didn't look away from the hologram. No. Earth disappeared for us. Before anyone could respond, the system alarms changed pitch. A new signal cut through the noise, clean and unmistakable. A broadcast. Unencrypted. Wide spectrum. Targeted at the entire galactic network. The message translated itself. This is Earth. We have returned. Stand by for contact. The room erupted. Shut it down! Trace the origin! Get the council! Illyra raised her hand. Silence. The feed shifted. A human appeared. He wore a dark uniform marked with unfamiliar insignia, posture rigid, eyes steady. His face bore the lines of age and command. Behind him, a panoramic window revealed Earth rotating slowly beneath him, rings gleaming like forged silver. I am Admiral Marcus Hale, Earth Defense Command, the man said calmly. We acknowledge that our return may cause concern. Concern was not the word echoing through Illyra's mind. Fear was. Hale continued. 2,000 years ago, Earth initiated the Exodus Protocol in response to an extinction-level threat originating beyond known space-time. To survive, we stepped outside the universe. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Impossible, someone whispered. We did not flee, Hale said, as if hearing them. We endured. Illyra leaned closer to the console. What threat? She asked, knowing he could not hear her. Hale's expression hardened. The enemy that erased civilizations before yours could record them. The same enemy that is moving again. The feed cut. For half a heartbeat, the galaxy held its breath. Then every sensor in the authority flared red. Incoming jump signatures. Not from Earth. From everywhere. A senior officer shouted. Multiple unidentified fleets emerging at galactic periphery. Unknown configuration. Illyra felt a chill settle into her bones. They followed Earth back. A new transmission burst through, overriding all channels. This one was not human. The being on screen was tall, crystalline, its form refracting light into sharp prismatic shards. Its voice resonated like grinding stars. "I am Archstrategist Calith of the Threxian Dominion," it intoned. "Earth's return violates the Concord of Erasure. They were forbidden." Illyra's jaw tightened. The Threxians were ancient, calculating, ruthless. If they were alarmed, the situation was already catastrophic. Calith continued. "Humanity was judged too volatile, too adaptive, too dangerous to remain within the galactic order. Their disappearance preserved balance." The screen shifted again. Admiral Hale reappeared, standing now on a command deck alive with controlled urgency. "You tried to erase us," Hale said evenly. "You failed." Calith's facets flared. "You hid for 2,000 years." Hale nodded once. "We prepared." The camera pulled back, revealing Earth's orbital space in full. Thousands of ships moved in silent precision. Some were sleek and angular. Others were colossal, bristling with technologies that bent known physics into submission. The planetary rings pulsed faintly, energy flowing like a heartbeat. Illyra exhaled slowly. "They turned their world into a weapon," she murmured. Calith's voice sharpened. "Humanity will withdraw or face annihilation." Hale's gaze did not waver. "You had 2,000 years to forget us." He leaned forward slightly. "We had 2,000 years to learn you." The transmission ended. Across the galaxy, fleets aligned. Ancient powers mobilized. Long-dormant weapons awakened. And at the center of it all, Earth shone brighter than ever before, no longer lost, no longer silent. Illyra Voss realized, with sudden clarity, that history had not resumed. It had restarted. And humanity had returned not as survivors, but as the architects of whatever came next. The first shots were not fired in anger. They were fired in disbelief. At the edge of known space, Threxian forward scouts opened fire on a human picket group, expecting panic, retreat, chaos. Instead, the scouts vanished in precise flashes of blue-white light, their ships folded inward as if reality itself had rejected them. On Earth's command deck, Admiral Marcus Hale watched the engagement without satisfaction. "Confirm loss count," he said. A tactical officer responded calmly. 3 enemy vessels neutralized. No human casualties. Minimal energy expenditure." Hale nodded. "As expected." Behind him, the planetary rings pulsed brighter, streams of controlled energy flowing into orbital platforms that reconfigured themselves mid-orbit. Earth was not bracing for war. It was waking up. Across the void, the Threxian Dominion reeled. Archstrategist Calith stood within the crystalline core of the Dominion's war nexus, surrounded by projection shards showing collapsing scout formations. "This defies prediction," a subordinate hissed. "Human weapons exceed archived capability by 12 orders of magnitude." Calith's facets darkened. "They were primitives when they vanished." "They were desperate," another strategist corrected. "And desperation breeds innovation." Calith dismissed the projections with a sharp gesture. "They survived an enemy we failed to identify. That alone demands recalibration." The unspoken truth vibrated through the chamber. If Earth had faced something worse than the Dominion, and lived, then the balance of power was already broken. Back at the Galactic Astronomical Authority, Commander Illyra Voss stood amid controlled chaos. Emergency councils formed and dissolved by the minute as ancient alliances frayed under pressure. "They're not just defending Sol," an analyst said. "Human fleets are repositioning across multiple vectors. Predictive models suggest preemptive containment." "Containment of whom?" Illyra asked. The analyst hesitated. "Everyone." A new feed opened without request. Admiral Hale again. "This transmission is addressed to the Galactic Council," Hale said. "But since the Council appears undecided, we'll speak plainly." Illyra leaned forward. 2,000 years ago," Hale continued, "we discovered the universe was not the battlefield we thought it was. Space is merely the surface." The feed shifted. Human archival footage appeared, fractured, distorted, painful to watch. Entire star systems collapsed inward, consumed by shadows that moved with intent. Fleets vanished without debris. Civilizations ended without sound. This, Hale said, was the null tide. The name sent ripples through the chamber. No record contained such a term. They exist between dimensions, Hale said. They erase complexity, thought, life. We were next. A council delegate interrupted. Then why are we alive? Hale's expression hardened. Because they hadn't reached you yet. Silence followed. We escaped by stepping outside space-time, Hale said. But survival was not enough. We learned. We adapted. We fought. The footage changed again. Human ships clashed with impossible entities, weapons tearing open reality itself. Humans fell. Millions. Billions. Earth burned and rebuilt itself again and again. We lost our oceans, Hale said quietly. Then reclaimed them. We lost continents. Then reforged them. We learned how to weaponize extinction. Illyra swallowed. You didn't warn us, Caliph cut in, its voice overriding the channel. You abandoned the galaxy. Hale met the alien's gaze through the screen. No. We shielded it. Calith's facets pulsed erratically. You could have returned earlier. Yes, Hale agreed. And doomed you. The Threxian war nexus erupted in heated exchange, but Calith silenced them. You claim mastery over annihilation, Calith said. Then demonstrate restraint. Withdraw your fleets. Hale shook his head. That era is over. A warning alarm blared on Earth's command deck. Admiral, a sensor officer said. Massive energy fluctuations detected beyond the galactic rim. Hale closed his eyes for a brief moment. They followed us sooner than expected. The projection shifted outward. Space itself tore open. The null tide arrived without ships, without shape, without form that could be fully perceived. Entire regions dimmed as stars lost definition, their light smeared into nothingness. Panic erupted across galactic channels. Calith's voice wavered. That is impossible. Hale spoke softly, but his words carried weight. You wanted proof. Earth's rings flared to blinding brilliance. Every human vessel aligned. The rings emitted a resonance that rippled through space-time, locking onto the advancing void. Reality stabilized where the wave passed, holding firm against collapse. The null tide recoiled. For the first time in recorded existence, it hesitated. Hale's voice rose. Humanity did not return to conquer. We returned to finish a war you never knew you were losing. Calith stared at the projections in silence, understanding dawning too late. You are no longer a hidden world, the Threxian said slowly. You are a threat to the cosmic order. Hale allowed himself a thin smile. So were you, he replied. Until today. As Earth's weapons charged again, Illyra Vos realized the galaxy had misjudged humanity in the worst possible way. Earth had not vanished for 2,000 years. It had been forged. And now, standing between annihilation and existence itself, humanity was no longer asking for permission. They were issuing terms. The galaxy watched as the impossible held. Where the null tide advanced, space died. Where Earth's resonance passed, existence endured. Two realities collided at the galactic rim, one erasing, the other anchoring. Admiral Marcus Hale stood motionless as tactical data scrolled across his vision overlay. Stability threshold holding, an officer reported. Reality shear reduced by 68% in the containment zone. Not enough, Hale replied. Begin Phase 2. Around Earth, the planetary rings shifted configuration. Segments rotated, separated, and locked into a complex lattice that extended far beyond the planet's gravity well. Energy flowed through them in disciplined torrents, no longer reactive but deliberate. Commander Illyra Vos watched from the authorities' command nexus, pulse pounding. They're not just blocking it, she whispered. They're reshaping the boundary. A senior delegate turned toward her. Explain. They're defining where reality ends, Illyra said. And where it's allowed to exist. The null tide surged again, pressing against the lattice like a living abyss. Entire stars behind it dimmed, their light unraveling into static absence. For the first time, Earth's fleets moved forward. Human ships entered the void without hesitation. Kalitha's crystalline form flickered violently on the shared channel. "You are sending vessels into non-existence," Hale answered calmly. "We're sending anchors." The lead human ship vanished into the null tide. For a heartbeat, nothing happened. Then space crystallized around it. A corridor of enforced reality formed, stretching outward like a spear. Human vessels followed, extending the corridor deeper with each synchronized jump. The null tide screamed. Not in sound, but in rupture. Portions of it collapsed inward, devouring themselves as conflicting laws tore it apart. Illyra felt her breath catch. "They're fighting something that doesn't understand resistance." Kalitha's voice fractured. This is heresy against the cosmos." Hale's reply was immediate. "Survival usually is." Suddenly, alarms flared across every channel. A second breach opened, not ahead, but behind. Inside the galaxy. The null tide had learned. It bypassed the front, emerging near a populated spiral arm. Systems blinked out before evacuations could begin. A council delegate shouted, "Millions are dying!" Hale's jaw tightened. "Deploy Guardian Net." Earth's rings emitted a new frequency, deeper, slower. Across known space, dormant human constructs awakened. Massive structures unfolded from hidden orbits, ancient probes reactivating after millennia of silence. Invisible lines snapped into place. The galaxy gained a skeleton. Where the null tide touched these regions, it stalled, slowed, and fractured. Kalith stared at the data streams flooding the Threxian nexus. "You seeded us," it said hollowly. "All this time, you prepared our space." "Yes," Hale said. "Because we knew you wouldn't listen." Silence followed. Then Kalith spoke again, quieter. "The Concord of Erasure judged you a destabilizing force." Hale met its gaze. "And you were wrong." The null tide convulsed. At its core, something shifted. Patterns emerged, structures within the void, shapes that suggested intent far older than any species. It adapted again, compressing itself, focusing. "Admiral," a sensor officer said urgently, "the null tide is consolidating. It's targeting Earth directly." Illyra felt the weight of it then. "If Earth falls..." "It won't," Hale said. The fleet repositioned, forming a vast arc between Earth and the approaching abyss. Human ships locked formation, not in defense, but in convergence. "Open channel," Hale ordered. The feed cut through every active network. "This is Admiral Marcus Hale of Earth," he said, voice steady. "To all civilizations, withdraw your fleets. Fall back behind the Guardian Net. This next engagement is not yours." Kalith hesitated. "You cannot face it alone." Hale allowed a brief pause. "We already have." Earth's rings flared brighter than ever before. The planet itself responded. Continents glowed faintly as planetary systems synchronized. Oceans shimmered. The atmosphere thickened with charged auroras that wrapped the globe like armor. Illyra's voice barely carried. "They integrated the planet. They rebuilt it," Hale said. "Every time it broke, the null tide struck. It slammed into the human formation with annihilating force. Ships vanished. Anchors failed. Space buckled. Then Earth pulsed. A wave surged outward, not energy, not matter, but definition. The universe snapped into alignment around Earth's presence, enforcing coherence on everything it touched. The null tide recoiled violently. For the first time, it fractured into pieces that did not reform. Human ships pressed forward, weapons firing not beams, but constraints. Each strike collapsed portions of the void into inert nothing, stripping it of motion, intent, hunger. Minutes stretched into eternity. Then, slowly, impossibly, the null tide began to retreat. Across the galaxy, stars brightened again. Silence returned. Kalitha's image stabilized, its facets dim but intact. "It's withdrawing," it said. You forced it back beyond causality." Hale exhaled. For now. A council delegate whispered. You saved us. Hale shook his head. No. We bought time. Illyra stepped forward, voice clear despite the enormity pressing down on her. What happens next? Hale looked at Earth rotating beneath him, rings still glowing softly. Next, he said, we stop pretending this galaxy is divided. Caliph inclined its crystalline head. The Concord is void. Good, Hale replied. Because humanity isn't asking to join your order. The channel fell silent. Then Hale spoke one final time. We are offering protection, he said. But understand this clearly, if the galaxy falls back into denial, if politics outweigh survival again, Earth will act alone. Illyra felt a chill that had nothing to do with fear. And if we accept? She asked. Hale met her eyes through the screen. Then you stand behind us, he said. Because when the null tide returns, his gaze hardened. It will remember who heard it. Earth's light dimmed slightly, no longer blazing, but steady. The galaxy, reshaped and humbled, finally understood the truth. Humanity had not returned to reclaim its place. It had returned to define the future, and decide who would exist within it.